Hey, I'm Eric. Some people call me Mr. Horsepower. I have a few tales to tell. Maybe we should start from the beginning. When I was a young one, somewhere around the age of 8, I had a go-kart. I knew it needed to go faster. So, happened to be in the drugstore with my mom, and I noticed that they had a pint of methanol right there at the drugstore counter. We're talking Barlow, Kentucky, baby. So you could get whatever you needed. From reading Hot Rod magazine, I knew that methanol made more power than gas. So I began to save money. Best I remember, this small little bottle of methanol cost approximate $6. It was tobacco season, and we had started pulling plants, and I was making 50 cents an hour. So I put in a few days of pulling plants, getting ready to set tobacco, and saved up my money, went in with a pile of quarters, and I bought that pint of methanol. I brought it home, drained the fuel out of my go-kart. I found an old hacksaw in my granddad's barn, and I cut the muffler off. I put the methanol in it and it slowed down. Then I figured out, got to add fuel, baby. So, took the carburetor off, found what I'd thought were the jets, which is something I didn't even know a term existed. And got an old drill, found a drill bit, and I drilled them jets open as big as they would go, and the thread still held. And got that thing back together, got it fired up, and she was belching raw fuel out the exhaust pipe, flames, nice and blue, so pretty. And I thought this thing is kind of popping and crackling better than it used to. So I think I'm gonna give this a run. I pull out on the road and stomp on it, and it was not Posi-Track. And it lit up that single rear tire, and I was well on my way. I had started the journey. Brought it back in to the house after making a couple of runs down the road. Now, keep in mind, we live on Oldham Road, and you'll see 2 cars a day come down the road. So running down Oldham Road was not a problem. It was kind of an old school thing, like the old NASCAR boys when they was running Shine. You just had your way with it, running them back roads. And I did eventually bypass the governor on it, and I did that with a shoelace out of my granddad's Red Wing boots. He was not happy about that. Tied it to the governor, pulled it under my arm, and I pulled so I had throttle. And then when I wanted that boost, I just pulled that string and opened that governor wide open. And actually had my granddad clock me, and I would get behind him on the go-kart, and I would get up close to his bumper as I could get, and he kept speeding up, and that thing would roll 36 miles an hour. Without the governor bypass, it was running about 22. I wound up barrel rolling that go-kart, and luckily I had a helmet on. It cracked the helmet, split the face shield off, and it was like 30 yards down the road. When I come to my senses, I was standing up on the pavement, and my go-kart was in the ditch upside down, and it was leaking oil onto the exhaust pipe, of course, and it was smoking, and I thought my rig is on fire. I got blood dripping off of me, and I'm like, my granddad's name was Big John, because he was a big old boy, 6'7". Big John, my go-kart's on fire, we gotta get it. And he's like, boy, let's get up to your grandma's house and get you doctored up first. That little go-kart's gonna be okay. So anyway, that's kind of how my hot rodding journey began right there. We'll stop for now, and I'll be back with more stories. It gets more interesting.